Bike's gonna look sick in the back of this thing. Oh. Are you okay? Okay. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, and happy 4th of July weekend to all of my American subscribers. All right, guys, we got a few items on the agenda today. First and foremost being, I'm getting you an 8-ball update. This is a long overdue video, and we've got some really good news. So stay tuned through this video. There's a lot that we have to break down, and we're gonna be recouping a ton of details since that accident last September. Item of business number 2 is that DDG 32, aka my Denali, right here, and 30 grand cash. I've got the Starlight headliner on as we speak, is coming to a close. It actually ends. The official deadline is midnight Eastern Standard Time on July 4th. So if you guys want a chance to take home my baby, my daily, tap that first link in the description below. We've got max entries that are live until the end, and we have a limited product up right now that if you want to grab, you can actually get 25 times entries on that specific product if there's still availability of stock. Now we got a lot of really exciting things coming for enthusiasts that I'm excited to debut for you guys. We've got a bunch of new merch that's going to be dropping very soon, and the designs are something that I am very involved in. I like creatively expressing myself through apparel. That way we can brand ourselves, what it is that we stand for in life, and what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that we ultimately represent in our lives. Bullet antennas did come back, but I think they sold out, but we're working on the next restock of those as we speak. We've got a bunch of accessories in the pipeline and some other really cool, exciting things. Now, I'm sorry if you guys had some issues downloading the mobile application there for a period of time. There's this certificate that actually expired because Apple decided to update their stuff, and then we got an email, and we basically just been working to update the certificate so we can become eligible to allow you guys to download the app again in the App Store. So I want to apologize about that because we didn't click a little button that's set to auto renew, and of course, it's just like the needles in the haystack things in life. You guys know what I'm referring to. And item of business number 3, I just want to thank everybody for the overwhelming support of Spark. If you guys want to grab some Spark Energy, that's actually down in the description below as well. All right, guys, so we're actually leaving Left Lane Coatings. I want to give a huge shout out to Dylan, our manager down there, because he just recently became a father for the first time, and they had a little boy. So I've been kind of pinch hitting for him in the time being, which has been amazing because I actually get to pick up the Left Lane Coating cell phone and talk to all of you about what it is that you're looking to accomplish with your projects. I always feel this sense of surprise when I answer the phone because people typically don't think I answer the phone, but I actually love answering the phone. It's really cool to hear the stories about how long you guys have been subscribed to the YouTube channel and the journey at which we've kind of climbed together. It's really neat to have that type of interaction. Plus, seeing the smile and the excitement on your faces when you pick your parts up is just a feeling that I really greatly enjoy. Now, Bryce and Deshaun over there have been absolutely killing it, and Bryce has been our latest addition, man. The team over there is rocking. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention about Left Lane is that we actually historically have not offered Cerakote, but we will be getting into it very soon. So if you guys have anything that you want Cerakoted, such as the backside of your turbo housing, exhaust pipes, or anything else that gets hot, that is a great application for that. Now, we cannot do firearms related Cerakoting at this point in time because you actually need a manufacturer's FFL to do that. I don't know if Left Lane's gonna end up getting that, although it would be cool for the gun enthusiasts like myself and like a lot of you to custom mod guns, but then you get into all this filing and all this regulation stuff, and I don't really know if we're gonna go down that route just yet. But the cool thing is that Cerakote has a wide use case in the automotive aftermarket, and I think it would be a really nice addition to the Left Lane Coating suite of services. So stay on the lookout for that. We will be posting more as time comes. That's enough. I just wanted to kind of cover some general housekeeping items with you guys. I'll see y'all down at Peach Bottom. So the big question, whoa, look at that exposure. So the big question is, if you're drawn as the new owner of DDG 32, will you be changing anything about it? Will you lift it up higher? Will you go lower? Will you put wider wheels on it? Will you put smaller wheels on it? Will you go bigger tire? Will you go smaller tire? What will you do? Will you do anything at all? Only time will tell, and I can't wait to find out from Compliance 360 Services who the new owner of this thing is. Now we got my buddy Jeff's 2nd gen dually that Peach Bottom did a full restoration on back down here. Unfortunately, had a small casualty happen on the back bed of a freshly fully painted Nardo Gray 2nd gen, and he's a perfectionist, so he's getting it fixed. I was surprised to see it down here, but I'm not surprised at all. Jeff, if you're watching this video, I see you, my man. This thing turned out so sick, though. I love it. I definitely want to do a 2nd gen project, but maybe one that would not have a bed and more of a flat bed. I have some ideas for Left Lane Coatings, but we'll have to get there in another vlog. So let's talk about 8-ball. We got a lot to cover. 8 Ball. Man, I'll tell you what, guys, there's a lot that we need to cover in this upload because it's been almost 9 months since the accident that happened last September of 2022. And now that we actually have a lot of the parts off of the truck, we can actually show you the extent of the damage that we had anticipated. And I say we, meaning the team at Peach Bottom. Sean, you're a saint for taking on this project, and I have to give it to the team here, Corey and everybody else included. It's gonna have their hand in this project. I'd said it a few months back, but just to remind you guys, this is not a typical project that a normal body shop would take on, mostly because it's very, very involved. There's not even any specific parts that you can just jump online to grab. This is all custom stuff that is made and tailored to a build like this, which adds time, which ties up shop space, which takes resources, which takes problem solving, right? It's not just your typical standard out of the box scenarios, but these guys are willing to take it on. They had their hands in 8 Ball since it was nothing but a farm truck that was rescued by yours truly, and now truthfully, it's getting the full build that maybe it was long overdue for, just in a way that was not so desirable, to say the least. I do want to apologize in advance for some of the background noise here in the video. These guys are hard at work at a bunch of stuff, so you're just gonna have to understand this is a shop-based environment. So looking at the amount of frame damage that happened here on the passenger side makes me so unbelievably grateful for being okay as a result of that driver that pulled out literally directly in front of us last minute. That impact happened right here, and you can see the frame used to sit here is now bent completely over here and actually shifted and buckled in multiple points. First one being right here by the coil bucket, and then another one being in the back by the upper radius arm. I mean, this thing took a hit. It pushed the whole side of the bumper in to the point that it was actually hitting the American Force wheel. It broke the American Force, the 24x12 that we had here on the front. It actually pushed the whole cab side in. The door could hardly open, and it was a mess, and I was literally sitting right there. So being here certainly digs up some emotions, to say the least. I'm just so grateful to be okay. You guys can see here that they've got this thing torn down. This is effectively a scrap pile for all I'm concerned at this point in time. There's your actual bumper pushed in, cracked metal. The hood obviously absolutely destroyed. No more headlight. The rad support's gone and all the other front stuff. And now we're actually able to see that there's additional damage to the actual truck that we didn't see when everything was here. The motor is actually no longer sitting flat. It's actually tweaked backwards because that motor mount was pushed so far in that it actually shifted the entire assembly. We actually don't even know if the pedestal or the bridge between the turbo on the manifold and the atmospheric is okay. We'll know that once this motor gets installed in its new frame. So we'll work our way back here in a minute. Yes, this is a full frame off reconstruction. Legitimately, 8 Ball is getting essentially completely redone. There actually might even be a point where some of the work for the cab is not even worth doing, and we might even have to end up finding another cab. We just don't know yet, but check this out. The truck is getting an entirely new frame. So a frame was found in decent condition. It was actually sent to a friend of mine in Lancaster that has another powder coating business. Left Lane would have loved to do this, but unfortunately our oven is just not this large yet. It will be one day. It would have been cool to have our hands in this, but we might get our hands on some other parts of the project. In the event that Cassidy wants to powder coat some other things, that stuff will just come in due time. It's crazy. This frame actually looks significantly bigger without anything on it than on the truck itself. It's kind of weird how that happens. All right, so now let's talk about this timeline, right? Because it's somewhat distended at this point in time. Accident happened September 2022, and the truck got brought down here about a week after that had happened. And then the work began with insurance. So Cassidy had gotten on the phone with her boyfriend Dave's insurance, and they were basically saying, look, we have this very custom truck, and we want to try and get it fixed. We want to avoid having this thing totaled out. So then we worked with Cassidy to get her the supporting documentation on all of the things that we had done to the truck to compile a value for it. After about a month and a half to 2 months, the insurance company agreed that, yes, we see that you have all these documented receipts of everything that had been done to this truck, and we will pay you this amount to get it fixed. Now, Peach Bottom was a very integral part in that because they actually said, well, we need to support that number of repair, that total budget, if you will, for this build with labor costs and other miscellaneous body part costs and all these other things that came into kind of this total summary of damage evaluation. Then things with insurance from Cassidy's behalf kind of went a little bit dark. The insurance company kind of got quiet, and Cassidy was routinely following up, trying to basically procure the payment from insurance. Now, there was this whole back and forth process that had happened from about November to recently March of 2023. And unfortunately, all the forward momentum and progress on getting all the parts necessary to take on a very in-depth rebuild like this kind of halted because Peach Bottom couldn't buy all the parts because they hadn't received the funds yet from insurance to get it started. So that brings us to March of 2023, where Cassidy handed over the check to Peach Bottom to say, hey, get going, and they hit the ground running. And the pile of parts is mounting. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going into this. Now they can handle their shop time, bill their shop hours accordingly, and actually allocate their staff's resources to make sure that this thing is rocking and rolling. But before that happened, from about March to, let's just say May, there was this collection period. Like, all right, we have to find a good condition frame that's priced accordingly so it matches the budget, and then we can get it out to powder coat so it's powder coated. Now that that is back, they can then allocate time to pulling some of the necessary body panels back to try and resurrect the factory body lines. And if that's not possible, then they're gonna have to go out and find a new cab. Then it's the process of working through all the other things that are necessary to get this thing from its very manipulated form to its factory shape. Now the guys were planning on making a bunch of progress today, but unfortunately in business, other things happen that are anomalies. They say left fielders, and their compressor went out. So they have a contractor down here now that's trying to get that new compressor installed because the entire shop is effectively airless. And if you guys know anything about body shops, pneumatics are extremely important. So once they get that back up and running, they're gonna continue to work on 8-ball, and the plan is to get this thing completely torn down to the frame and then start the migration process from the old frame onto the new host frame to then get the engine put in place, the trans in place, get the traction bars in place, get the axles underneath the truck, get the cab, as long as it's in a suitable condition, they can get it repaired necessarily, into paint to touch up a lot of the damage that had happened, to do what Peach Bottom Auto Body does best, and then continue on that whole reassembly process. Now, I wanted to keep this video semi-short and concise, but I see that I already talked for about 12 minutes specific to that, and that's where I'm just gonna kind of cap that topic to say there's still a lot of work that needs to get done. Now, timeline-wise, I'd say realistically, and this is more of an aggressive timeline, a job like this where things inevitably come up all the time, almost every day as you're working through and kind of peeling back the layers of the onions, we're gonna say roughly 8-ball to get back on the road is 3 to 4 months at this point in time, which will put us at about a year in total. But about 6 months of that process was essentially just working with insurance and waiting for insurance to pay Cassidy and Dave out for the damages that were done on behalf of the at-fault driver. Needless to say, this is no little task and not a novice exercise by any means, but 8-ball will be resurrected, I promise you that, and I'm extremely excited for that day that I can actually do another official delivery with Cassidy. We'll get her back on the vlog out from Illinois, and she can actually go out to enjoy her truck. This is like one of my nightmare situations, honestly, with just being an enthusiast in general. We all allocate so much time, emotion, and financial resources to get these trucks to where we want to be, but it can take one person not paying attention to put a massive wrench in the wheel, for lack of a better phrase. I still cannot believe to this day that I had my camera on when that accident occurred, because this truck actually at the time wasn't equipped with a dash cam. Now, speaking of dash cams, guys, it is like the cheapest insurance possible to ensure that you are not blamed for something that you didn't do. So if you've ever considered getting one, make the investment. I personally prefer next-based cameras. They have a variety of ones from kind of entry level around $100 all the way up to about $450. They have different features, capabilities, connectivities, the whole 9 yards. Now, this video is not by any means sponsored by Nextbase. They've just been really nice to send me some cameras in the past, but they're not paying me to tell you guys that. More or less, I just want to pass it along to you as a means of good faith to say, hey, an added set of eyes or two that are recording and that you can reference is a very, very nice thing. Now, being that there's so much going on, do you guys want me to cover more of the rebuild process of 8-ball? Comment below, and if you have any other questions, drop them below about what we have going on, because I'll gladly get back to them or at least highlight them in future videos. And that's kind of where the activity update stops on that truck. It looks like they actually just finished up this 2024 that Lime Ridge had gotten and actually just recently sold. This is going to be staying local, and then we got a bunch of other really nice enthusiast builds here in the area. Holy Grail plate on this F-150, Holy Grail plate on that sweet blue 3rd gen Mega Cab. I got a soft spot for those things. I like them a lot. I would love to add one to the arsenal, because I feel like in my life, I just need a 3rd gen. That's all I'm saying. Potentially in the future, we'll see what happens. If an opportunity presents itself, I might have to jump on it. So I'll let you guys get back to your 4th of July weekend. I hope you all have an awesome time and stay safe. Don't forget to get entered for that truck right there, because your chance is about to be completely over. And if you don't enter, you'll never win. I can guarantee that. Best of luck to you guys. Thanks for watching as always. Love y'all, and I'll see you in the next upload.